Welcome to our 5 on 5. I'm very pleased to be joined today by actor and Ashland resident Tony Heald. Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure.
I'm about to give you the longest introduction in 5 on 5 history. I've only done 1,000 of these.
Okay.
So major Hollywood films, you might know them from, like Silence of the Lambs. You sit back, I got this. Okay. Other Hannibal Lecter movies, I believe Red Dragon and the like. Pelican Brief, Searching for Bobby Fischer, as well as recurring roles in TV shows like Boston Public, Boston Legal, even Frasier. Yeah. You're also a Tony-nominated actor who's been working in theater across the country for decades, including OSF and other Rogue Valley productions. So you've been busy.
Yeah.
You're doing work.
It's a huge blessing for an actor, you know, to be able to go from job to job. I've been very fortunate.
And I have 100 questions, I believe. We're going to actually make this a 3-part 5 on 5. We'll get to that later. Okay. But first, the personal stuff. What brought you to Ashland, and how long have you lived here?
You know, I was doing a client in Memphis in August. In August. And my wife and kids came down, and they said, we can't. So we had a friend who worked at the festival, and they came out and visited. And when we all got back to me, they said, oh, it's wonderful. You guys, last thing I want to do is leave the world of film and television and Broadway and do regional theater again. And the next year we came and visited, and I went, this is special. And the next year I applied.
Wow.
And the next year we bought a house.
And so 96, I believe you told me
in
our lead up to this. You've been here since 96.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Yeah. And you have family here now still, and kids are growing up and starting families of their own. It's exciting times.
Our daughter's got a daughter of her own, our first grandchild, Amelia. And about to turn 1, so
that's wonderful. Yeah, and so in talking about theater, because before you got into the Hollywood world and your career began in theater, when did you know you wanted to become an actor?
I knew when I was about 9. My parents had a play reading group that would meet in our living room once a month, and I would sit in my door with the ear to the door and listen to my parents become different people. And all these neighbors that I knew, you know, doing these interesting things. And I thought, that's kind of fun. But when I went to Michigan State, I was going to be I was going to be you. Well, I was going to be an earlier incarnation, Walter Cronkite. But I got cast in a play the 3rd week I was there, and I was lost forever to broadcasting.
That's amazing. Okay, and so are you, I guess I got to ask, are you involved in anything right now? Are there any plays people can see you locally, or what are you working on this year, perhaps?
You know what, the next thing I have locally is a recital called Such Stuff as Dreams Are Made On, which is a piece that a wonderful guitarist, David Leisner, and I put together. And we did it last November in Philly for the Chamber Music Society there. And we're doing it for Chamber Music concerts on June 8th, afternoon and Saturday. That's the next thing that's coming up. You know, I'm going to hit 80 this summer, and it's got to be something that I would really, you know, hate to miss for me to invest the time and energy.
Very good. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Okay. We'll have much more with Tony in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, you're here with Ashland resident and, of course, renowned actor Tony Heald. Before we get into some of the fun Hollywood stuff that I want to quick hit with you on, I've got to ask you about Tim Bond. You know, he started as the OSF artistic director in September, and you know him and have worked with him. You're very excited he's here.
You know, I came on when Libby came on back in 97, I guess it was. And Tim was her associate artistic director. And his wife, Nancy, actually co-taught with my wife, Robin, at a preschool my wife started. Wow. Anyway, that's another story.
That's great.
But, you know, Tim was here the whole time that Libby was here. And he knows this theater, that theater. He knows what makes it work. He knows what brings the audiences in. He's part of what I think in a lot of ways is a kind of golden age of OSF. You know, Bill Rausch was an extraordinary leader and with a very unique vision. But I think it got away from what was essentially the mission of OSF, which is to present a rotating repertory season with a revolving cast of actors that the audience becomes familiar with and identifies with and wants to see. And so coming up here meant seeing 2 or 3 shows with this actor in different roles. And that's so exciting for an audience. And in the time since Libby and Tim, we got away from that very much. And I think Tim is very much committed to the idea of a robust, rotating repertory theater company, which is what makes OSF unique in North America.
Yeah, sure. What is stage, big screen, Hollywood? What is your favorite role that you've ever been in?
Oh boy, I got to do Iago back in '99 at the festival. That was thrilling, just thrilling. I got to do Lear at Cal Shakes in '15, and it was problematic. And then I got to do it again summer before last at Utah Shakes, and that was thrilling. That was a wonderful experience. Mostly it's the classics. That's really what brought us to Ashland, was the idea of doing Shakespeare.
Okay. What's your favorite director you've ever worked with?
Well, in film, I have to say it's Jonathan Demme.
Okay. Silence of the Lambs, of course. He doesn't know. Yeah.
I remember one day they checked the dailies and there was a hair on the gate or some disaster, and a whole day's work was lost, and his reaction was to laugh and invite everybody back to his apartment for pizza.
Wow.
And he just was a genial host with an extraordinary vision, and I never really understood it until I saw the final film.
I love stories from those crazy movies that you hear about that are a wreck, that the stars think are going to be terrible and they win Oscars. I mean, I love those stories.
Everybody, though.
The Godfather.
Everybody with Silence was convinced that it was going to be a major, major hit.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. But I went to see it and I thought, oh, this is terrible. This is terrible. I couldn't see it.
Wow.
So, yeah, I have some swampland in Florida you might be interested in.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Your favorite scene partner? Not the quote unquote best actor you've worked with, but who's the person you play off?
Oh boy,
that you just have that connection.
I got to do Heisenberg last summer, a 2-character play at the Rogue Theater Company out at Grizzly Peak Winery, with an extraordinary actress, Amy Lizardo. And I had never worked with her, and I only knew her socially. I had seen her in 2 things, but I thought, this is one of the most exciting actresses I've ever seen. Yeah. And we got to do Heisenberg together, a 2-character play. 15 performances.
I believe Annie Giardinelli on our staff came out and got to interview you both about that.
Oh, yes, that's right.
That's incredible. What an honor for her to
honor for me to work with somebody like that. And in film, I've had the art. Well, I have to say Bradley Cooper was extraordinary. Just a wonderful, wonderful man.
Interesting.
Tony Hopkins, Jodie Foster.
Yeah, those are some of the biggest
Meryl
names.
Streep.
That's incredible. Okay, now I got to tell people we're going to extend this conversation. We're going to go part 3 for our 5 on 5.
I can't shut up.
I have so many more questions. So we're going to continue it on Your Place at 7 here in just about a half an hour, I believe. So we hope you stick around for that. Tony, great to see you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Yeah. All right. Stay with us.